every once in a while, just want to make sure it's still going. Right now, it's this thing doesn't have a mic on
Coach has called this meeting to an order. Good evening. I want to welcome everybody tonight to this very special occasion. For Coach, a special guy here. I'm going to get out of the way quickly. As you can see, there's some good stories to be told here in just a minute. But I want to say a couple things before I turn it over to these guys. This gym floor was scheduled to be sanded and repainted this year, and the idea was proposed that we've got a pretty unique coach in our history here at NCOE that needs to be recognized. A coach that has 3 state championships, 2 second place state titles, 3 second place, 2 third place state titles, 10 conference championships, 10 regional championships, 15 state appearances, and all of that over 500 career wins. And to put the icing on the cake, he's in the Illinois Coaches Basketball Hall of Fame. These coaches don't come around very often, and so when they do, you need to recognize them. And on a personal note, before I turn this over, I never had the opportunity to teach or coach with Coach Johnson. As a matter of fact, the year that he retired, the next year I came in. Nor did I have the privilege or the opportunity to play for Coach or be a student under Coach. However, as my job as superintendent sometimes can be very stressful and taxing, I have the privilege of having my office across the street from Coach's backyard. And it is not a rare occasion that Coach and Linda are in the swing together. And I get an invitation to come over to be coached. And let me just tell you, he's still coaching. Coaching is not always about wins and losses. It's about coaching life, and he's given me plenty of advice for life. And he and Linda have no idea how much that means to me in this journey. And we got a rare guy here that is so deserving, not just because of the X and O's of wins and losses, because there's not a greater human being, he and his wife, Linda, that I can highly recommend for this particular honor. So, with that said, on behalf of the NCOE School District, the Board of Education, it is our honor and privilege tonight to call this floor the Jack Johnson Court. I'm going to turn this over now. If you see somebody sitting behind you, go, that guy over there, it looks like that could be Coach Johnson's brother. It's because it is. There's a lot of greatness in this family. As a matter of fact, Jim Johnson, Jack's brother, is here tonight, and he was just recently inducted into the Illinois Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame. A lot of greatness in this family. Let's hear it for Jim Johnson.
Good evening, Cardinals. And what a special day this is that we get to be here and pay honor to a gentleman that I just happen to know. And we're going to get an opportunity to hear from some of his coaching friends, family, players. And believe me, the thrill of this and the honor that it has bestowed upon him is well worth it. It's time, and this time I want to introduce a very special young man who is going to speak to us first, and we'll have a couple more, and then we will get to hear from the man himself. At this time, I want to present Mr. Cal Johnson, son, family, and I'm telling you, the apple did not fall very far from the tree. This is a whole young man. This is a big night, and first I'd like to thank Mr. Bowman and the school board for getting this together. It's appropriate and right for us to honor. I'll say, Coach, I love him, Dad. Uncle Jim, thank you for being here. And, you know, all these guys up here are Hall of Famers. Mr. Reed Jackson and Coach Gray, and a little bit intimidated by these guys. But I'm thankful they're here and going to share some things about Dad. I'm so proud of my dad and happy for him. You know what? I'm happy for all of us that this is being done. It's important for our community. It's important for us to have a shared history. And Dad's been a great model to bring all that together over the years. I want to tell a real quick story about a middle school basketball team. The school probably had in the top 3 grades maybe 120 kids, and their coach scheduled a game with a junior high that was the biggest junior high in Southern Illinois, Mount Vernon Junior High. And we took our little tails up to Mount Vernon, going to play this big school. And we walked in that gym, and there were people everywhere, and it was quite a bit bigger facility than we were used to. And Dad had us ready for that game. And we battled them guys tooth and nail. And memory serves me right, I think they beat us at the very end of the game on a controversial call. And we come back home, and they come down to our place later that year, and we beat them. And what I want to get to is that it really didn't matter to us how big that school was. It didn't matter. He had us ready to play. It didn't matter if the Boston Celtics showed up. We're going to get after you. And that has been a huge lesson for me, and I think for everybody that played for Dad, is it didn't matter. You know, if you prepare correctly, whatever challenge comes your way, you can handle it, right? Coaches have influence. Good coaches have success. Great coaches have success and influence lives. Legendary coaches have success, they change lives, they strengthen schools and communities long beyond the coaching day. That's what we have here tonight. They become a North Star that inspire young people to do their best, to be good husbands, fathers, and citizens. They remain important and influential throughout a lifetime. They exemplify the best of what an educator can be and make us feel better about ourselves, either from a past event or a current interaction. All of you in here tonight that played for Dad have your own individual memories of him. Your connections to him, there's no way that we could probably even quantify that, but they're there. It's evident by the number of people here tonight. And I know there were those who wanted to be here and couldn't. He's a North City boy. Went to North City High School. I think spent a little bit of time in Omaha down on Mary Creek. He played for Bob Jones at North City High School, who also was a Hall of Fame coach. Met the love of his life, my mom Linda, and they still are a pretty good team. They actually won the first regional championship, if I'm correct. 1957, is that right? The regional, right? Regional champions. He attended and played basketball at SIU. Started his career in Polk County for 1 year. The rest is here in North City. And he followed Arnold Nickham as the North City grade school coach. I think he actually helped coach at high school for a year, for a couple of years.
Mr. Baldwin mentioned the 500 wins, the state tournaments, the titles, the runner-ups, the third place, all the finishes, IBCA Hall of Fame. He's been impacting lives as an educator in this community almost 60 years. That's unbelievable. Still coaching with his grandson Jordan at NCOE. He's made a full circle. I'll tell you this, I've observed this for 59 years. He is a man of the highest character. He is a man I've always tried to emulate. When he played for Jack Johnson, there was a standard of how you played and how you behaved. You win in basketball fundamentals. Tough defense, take good shots, you value the ball, and you never ever quit. You know what? Those are the things that allow us to have a successful life too. Those fundamentals. How many of you guys remember this? How many of you remember running wind sprints and running the stairs at the grade school? Getting your stick of chewing gum before the pregame. That obnoxious air pump. Standing on the stairs down there waiting to come out on the floor with your new Chuck Taylors on. The old canvas ones, guys, right? How about a cold dust? Fighting over the good leather balls when you come up to the ball game in the afternoon. And my favorite, it's funny that one of the reasons why I always look forward to going to Mount Vernon, or we got to go to Mount Vernon, is we got ham sandwiches on the way home. I mean, you know, it didn't take a lot to get us fired up. Like, we'll play those boys for ham sandwiches, you darn right. So we had the old ham sandwiches and the old military cans and some cold milk in there. And, you know, my biggest concern was always that there may be a couple extra left we could take home later. And they had just the right amount of mayonnaise on them. Fun stuff. Naming the floor tonight is appropriate and well deserved, as I've mentioned. You see, no one has loved this school more than Dad, nor the kids in this community more than Dad. No one has exhibited more class and integrity in carrying out the duties of their job as an educator than him. Many have done the same, but none more. Each time you come here or think this gym, in school, your thoughts will go to a time, maybe with him, maybe with a particular team, or a moment in game. Knowing and celebrating that shared history, the name of this floor reminds us of what is possible when you work hard, you treat people right, and you stay the course. Thomas Merton said this, and I think that this fits my dad very appropriately. He said, humility is the sure sign of strength. And he carries himself with a great deal of humility. And we recognize that. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for this gesture. Dad, I'm thankful for you. You are our North Star. I honor and respect and love you. Welcome.
Cal was he was a premier player, and he could hop. And it runs in the family. They got it from me. There are still hopping records that high school gym where I'd had Coach Village operate there. So anyway, our next speaker has a special relationship with Jack Johnson. He coached him. He had great teams. And he stood up for the same thing. That's the reason they get together and they like each other, going hunting, fishing, whatever this event is, they go together. Dave Gray.
Thank you. Well, I'm in you for some votes. She bring a pretty good crowd. I'll say that for you. That's pretty good. In the spring of 1968, about a month before I graduated from college, I wrote every school superintendent south of Effingham and east of Interstate 57, and I was looking for a job to coach and teach in Southern Illinois. I got one response. Frank Blackman, NCOE Unit District number 3. Come and interviewed for the job and was offered the job. Thank goodness I needed the job. One of the first couples that Joyce and I met was Jack and Linda Johnson. We weren't together very long before we realized we had a lot in common. Jack and I like to hunt, to fish, golf. We love sports and we love working with kids. And our wives, Linda and Joyce, they were both stay-at-home moms at that time. Linda had a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and we had a 3-month-old daughter. That son came a little longer. But it was the starting of a friendship that's lasted more than 50 years. It's still strong today. It's been a blessing in our lives. You know, I don't care what your profession is, mentors are vital. You need somebody that you can sound off of, talk to about what things go on in your professional life. I had 2. I was very fortunate. My high school coach, Ron Herron from Allen, was a great asset to me, and the other one was Jack Johnson. Jack had 6 years of experience over me, and we spent a lot of time talking about it. In 1974, the fall, I took over as varsity coach. You know, he came to me and he said, "Hey, coach, is there anything at the junior high level that I can do to help the program?" And I always appreciated that he would come and say to me, "What can I do to make your team better?" I said, "Coach, there's 2 things, but you're doing them already, but I just want to emphasize it. First of all, we're a small school. We need every kid we can get to play sports that will help us in any way, whether it's baseball, basketball, or track. And if you ever went to the gym or games over at the old gym and you was there for the 7th grade game, you'd see 3 rows of kids behind the coaches up there saying, 'I hope I get 30 seconds. And some nights, Coach Spence and the assistant coaches, they could get 20, 25 kids in the game. It was a job. But they created a good atmosphere. Coach said, "You want me to play more zone or more man-to-man or run your offenses?" I said, "No, Coach. You do what will make you successful at your level, because I want you to create a winning attitude. If kids come to the high school with a winning attitude, we're going to be in great shape." When you won over 500 games, that tells you whether they won or not. They did. You know, Coach and I, bird season, quail season, and basketball season parallel to one another. We'd have a game on Friday night. Saturday morning, we'd be in the field about the time the sun came up, waiting for every quail whistle. And if the dogs weren't on point, we were talking basketball. We're talking Friday night game, we're talking Thursday, we're talking what happened during the week. This work, this didn't work, so on. We covered a lot of territory chasing the dogs. Great memories, couldn't take anything for it. You know, in 1998, Coach, as has been mentioned, was inducted into the Hall of Fame. What is really rare about that, and really important to know, is that there was almost no junior high coaches in the Hall of Fame, IBCA Hall of Fame at that time. It was college coaches, high school coaches, and a few pro coaches. But the coaches of Southern Illinois and around the state recognize what a job the coach has done. And so being inducted into the Hall of Fame at that time was quite an honor. It really was. For 33 years, I coached at the high school, and our home games was in Humbert J. Phelps Gymnasium. Mr. Phelps had passed away before I came, and I didn't know who he was. But I asked Mr. Norris, who was our principal at the time, I asked Mr. Whiteman, I asked Coach Johnson, I even asked Deke Johnson. I figured he probably had more face time with me than anybody did. And he had a story or two. But, you know, I never met the man, but they told me why his name is on the wall up there in his plaque. Coach, in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, young kids are going to walk through those doors visiting teams. And they're going to look at Jack Johnson's name on the side. And they're going to ask the question, who's Jack Johnson? Right here. Here's the people who will tell them who Jack Johnson was, what he stood for, why his name is there. And they say he's a junior high coach. He taught me how to drive in driver's ed. Friend of the family, went to church with me. Any number of things. All of fame. But they will let you know who Jack Johnson is. Just like Cal said, I think it's a great thing in a nutshell. Good coaches can make you a good player. Great coaches make you a great person. And I think that's it in a nutshell. Coach, this is quite an honor. I'm thrilled for you and for Linda and for Cal, Matt, and your family. It's a lasting tribute. Congratulations and God bless you.
Thank you, Dave. And you really do know who Jack Johnson is. Once you met him, you've met him. You see his name on the court. And for those young men who did not see him play or see him coach, you're lucky to have who you got right now. But I'm very prejudiced about the guy we're honoring tonight. He's very special. Now, our next speaker played here at North City. Went on to play college ball. I think about the first or second game, there was a loose ball, and somebody went over the scorer's table into the bleachers, and I think took out 3 season ticket holders. And one guy said, well, if he don't kill himself, he's going to be pretty good. Reed Jackson.
Thank you. Coach, what an honor
honor it is to be here tonight, to enjoy this with you and your family and the Cardinal Nation. That's what I want to have with you. You got the family, you got the coaches, and you got the players. And I can only represent a few players here, but I'm thinking I might have the most years underneath your belt coming through.
I'm sure.
So in fourth grade, I was the manager. You guys probably don't know that. But I was manager. Those Chuck Taylors you're talking about, getting in the box, and you guys are done, I was chucking them in there. Having a good time. In fifth grade, it allowed me to be on the seventh grade team. And in the sixth grade, I was on the seventh grade, eighth, and eighth. So I had several years of coaching, and several years of that hand coming on your shoulder, and you're going, yes, coach. Yeah. Yeah. And that was a good learning. And, you know, I'm not going to get up here very long, but I want to tell you a couple of stories. You know, coach has always been upfront, honest, and sometimes pretty direct, you might say. We were playing in, it was before the state game, and I came in and I've been practicing this move. And I'd come underneath the basket, and I'd use that rim, and I'd flip it up and go in. And I was feeling pretty good about it. I had a wide open layup, and I came in that game, and I came underneath, and I missed it. And I remember a timeout, the coach said, you might as well get the mustard and relish out too with that hot dog stuff you're doing. No taking. Hit the ball in the hole and go to the other end. And those are just small things. I mean, coach has been such a presence in my life and a lot of people's lives here. You know, in my situation with my family, wasn't able to go home after games. Dad was working, graduating in high school. Dad was like, what the hell am I going to do with Ruth? Coach and Linda, on game days, I went over to their house after school. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll get to stretch out on the couch, watch a little TV. Oh no. Linda, get in that room, do your homework, spaghetti, be ready in a little bit, and you'll be ready to go to the game. So Jack had the coaching, but Linda's the one who got me ready to play. We get on that bus, and everybody be hungry. And good. Spaghetti, I can still remember that spaghetti. Oh, but there was one time that coach got so mad at me, he wouldn't talk to me for weeks and weeks. You remember that? I'll tell you. See, coach went to SIU, Carter, right? I had a chance to go to Carter and play basketball, and I chose to go to U of E. He didn't talk to me for months. Now that might be a little stretch. But coach never pressured me to go to SIU. He never pressured me to do anything but what I was capable of doing. And he was always behind me 100%. And you know, I feel fortunate we get our combine ride together in the fall. Coach shows up for a day and he sits beside me in the seat. And we just talk and talk and talk, we communicate, and tell each other what's going on in our lives, and mentor, like you were saying, Coach, talk about a mentor. I just sit there and I listen. And I don't say much. I mean, I know, I just sit there. I'll just be listening the whole time. Matt would be on the radio saying, hey, you ready to dump? I said, no. But I tell you what, I told Coach this last week. I said, I know that this is a big honor and you don't feel like you deserve it. But I'm telling you, you can say that there's the players that made this happen, parents that made this happen. There's been friends, there's been other schools, there's been success over the career, and this is a whole big bunch of people, but there's always one person that is in the equation every single time, and that is Jack Johnson. And I'm very proud to call him my friend, my dad, my mentor.
See, you can't go after Bruce Ball and survive. Great job. To the superintendent, to the Board of Education, I just want to say thank you. Honoring a man like Jack Johnson, who's given so much to students, players, fellow coaches, opposing coaches. It speaks so highly, and what he's provided this community and this people with the character that you could root for a Cardinal team and know they were going to play hard, they were going to do what they're supposed to do, and it showed up time and time again. You can take pride in the Fighting Cardinals. And the thing is, other schools try to do what the NCOE program did. But I'm telling you this, Jack Johnson built a foundation. His foundation was real simple. You go to work and you work hard. You also have your work ethic, and then you make the effort to be as good as you can be, and you be proud of your efforts, because that's what makes you good and get better. He also had a very strong competitive effort. He liked winning. If you didn't play that, be around him. He played to win, but he played to win the right way, the Cardinal way, the Jack Johnson way. The 500 wins, the state titles, and all the numerous achievements, Jack Johnson proves nice guys don't finish last. Don't let them tell you that. I got a guy that I can prove it with. Naming this the Jack Johnson Court is an honor, and it's really apropos because of how he built programs and teams. And he built with a purpose in there. And he did such a great job. He cared about each individual. And he didn't treat them all the same. He pushed some. He pulled some. And he had the patience to let some find their own way. And then he put it all together and provided his team. What we want to do tonight is show the pride that we have not only in what he accomplished, but who he is. Because basketball alone does not define Jack Johnson. Here's a man who earned the players' respect. They love him, and coaches admire and respect him as well. Parents, you knew where your kid was going, and you knew what was going to happen. You knew they were going to practice hard, and you knew they were going to get better every time. But not just in basketball, in life lessons as well. Not just words, but he has been an example. He talks the talk and he walks the walk, folks. And that's in his personal life, that's in his faith and his family. Every board on this floor should represent a person who's been touched by Jack Johnson. Now, I want to talk about real quickly, not only is this man I'm talking about my friend, my mentor, but I get to call him brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Johnson.
I'm not sure that I know that guy we're talking about. I want to thank you, Jim, Jim flew home from Alabama, Gulf Shore, Orange Beach, just to do this for me. My best friend, one of my great players. So, you know, it's awesome to hear those, just to see that. And I don't have much to say, except I have a lot of thank yous to you. Let's start with Mr. Bowman, our superintendent, and his school board, especially the effort he's put in to put all this together out there, you know, lobby and put these people together and set up this night, get that name put on the floor. And, you know, it makes me very proud to see that. And it's very humbling to think that I'm not thought to have that. I've been around here a long time. And one of the reasons I've been somewhat successful is because of my wife. You've heard the story. I'm a very successful man. There is a beautiful, successful woman. Well, it's true. Linda, thank you. We were doing long nights. 6:30 practices. We used to practice and late nights on the bus, and Linda put her share of the time in on the bus. And it was, I don't know, just great. Anyway, thank you. My sons, I know they put up with me, but they became gym rats. And they were with me ever since they got. I worked in the old gym early morning, we'd go over, they'd go in, shoot around, and those kids come in almost at practice, and time school started, they'd all be sweating, so going into the classroom. That was our choice. You know, I guess you probably heard this story too about the guy asked this little boy, said, what's your favorite subject in school? And he said, basketball. Basketball? He said, yeah, it's fun. And the homework's fun too. So basketball was important to me. I loved it. And I was fortunate enough to be placed in a situation in North City, Omaha, and Infield District where other people love basketball too. And kids grew to love basketball. And they want to be a part of the game. And they want to be part of that fun. And that was one of the things that helped us out, Coach. And you know, behind that, kids willing to put forth this effort was parents who were willing to put forth the effort to have them there. It wasn't always easy, I know. I know my mom and dad, it wasn't easy for them either. I'm the third of 4 boys. We learned a lot in the driveway of when the gym was open. We were there. So I understand and I appreciate you parents so much. And you parents that have these young men here tonight, I appreciate you so much. This is how the programs start, how they build, and how they continue. And that's important. Basketball has a lot to offer each individual. And I hope you guys get the most out of it. It's like somebody said a while ago, it's not the wins and the losses. It's the other things. And the other things are the things that have brought people out here tonight. Caring, supporting one another, encouraging one another to do the best you can. And when that happens, most of the time good things happen. And that's what we had a lot of good things happen here over the years. I was fortunate enough to be the coach. I love to run into people and they say, hey coach, how you doing? And I mean, that's you, it's something. And you experience that, didn't you? So, for that, thanks guys for being gym rats and taking the pressure off your mother. Couple things. I want to mention assistant coaching real quick. The first one was Larry Anderson, who unfortunately passed, but did a good job. It was very enjoyable. And the next one was David Spitz, who's been, I think, 18 years old. David, you have so much and was so willing to step in and support me like I support the high school. And they helped out the program very much. And it came Mr. Carmen. We don't call him Cliff anymore, call him Doctor. Carmen was my assistant coach. I taught him several good things. One of them was get your doctorate degree and move on. And also taught him another training, it's a life skill. That is, when you're in PE class and they're playing out on the blacktop at the grade school, get your chair, tilt it back against the window, and umpire from there. And you know, it didn't take long to get learn that. Isn't that a life skill? And a couple others were short, Jim Grayhouse was here, and Scott, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm pretty much talk through and let everybody know that I appreciate the parents so much. I want to re-emphasize that because when the parents can talk to the coach, when the parents can get along with the coach and understand what's expected of their son, whether he's a leading scorer or the one that comes in, but it's a practice every day. I love those guys. I love those guys. And I let them know every day how much I appreciate people that don't necessarily get a lot of minutes. But you know, I think probably that time has been forgotten, long forgotten. What they remember is the good time they had, the fun they had at practice, the fun they had on the games, the fun on the bus, and the friends that they made. And that was what it's all about. And I'm going to say this at this time, that if there's anyone that I mistreated or did wrong, I ask you for forgiveness now. So, but I understand those things happen. But anyway, talk about making friends. I'll show you something. In the 6th grade, I moved up here from Omaha, out off of Bear Creek. When you come off of Bear Creek, and you got 2 older brothers, they're pretty tough. You get mud between your toes, you learn how to skin a catfish and swim in the creek. We moved to North City in 6th grade, and I met some guys, a couple of guys that are here tonight, and 3 guys actually. One of them was a couple years older than I. We played basketball, baseball, roomed with him a couple years in college. And I have 2 friends that I played from 6th grade through high school. We've been friends ever since, and they're here tonight. Can you believe that? From Seymour, Indiana, and from Dahlonega, Georgia. I love these guys. They were friends. They owned in the Catholic from Georgia. Leonard and Karen Bruce from Seymour. Ellis was born from Seymour, Indiana. And I see my buddy Carmine, he was a year older, but we did a lot of playing together. He was a very good player, Gary Anderson. Is there any other class of 57 here? That's right, I said 57. Go on in, Bobby. Good to see you. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you being here. It means a lot. That's a special effort for old people. See, they're all over 90. To get out and travel like that. But anyway, and I see one of my friends too, so Leland Russell and Mick Colbert, they were teaching when I was there. Memories flood my mind so much. I have so much to say, and a lot of it was maybe BS, I'm not sure. But it's not for me. So thanks a lot, guys. Now, I think I've got my thank yous in, but I've got some people that I owe thank yous to. And we'll start off with cheerleaders and their sponsors. And I know there's some of them here tonight. Are they going to get out on the floor? I think they're going to have a chance to get out on the floor. So I won't ask you to do this, but I will say this. Thank you very much. It was so much fun. We had a good time. And, you know who you are, you know what I think of you. You're awesome. And I appreciate the effort that the cheerleaders, they put a little spice, you know, into everything that's going on. Great games and so on and so forth. But anyway, thank you very much. Now, that brings me to a couple other guys. As scorekeepers. We people we could rely on. You don't know what that means. You don't have to be a scorekeeper every night. You know they're gonna be there, they're gonna show up. There's one gentleman, and his son is here, Mark, Denzel Edwards, and I think that he kept score for over 50 years. Mark, is that right? You know? Mark must be outside. And another one was Keith Grant. Keith was very helpful. And that brings me to the group that I spent the most time with, my players. There's something about my players, I call it mine, that when you see them every day, and you know their parents, and you know where they came from, and you know them almost as well as your own son, you grow to appreciate them, you grow to love them. And I know there's some of them here tonight that through the years, the concern that I had for them as developing a young man, I have for them in their life. I just hope and pray that they're happy, successful, and have nothing but good memories when they think about North City, Omaha, school. And we're trying to get an opportunity to be successful, and a lot of times they were. And in doing so, they enjoyed themselves, they were happy, and they were kids. They were not faultless, and they needed straightening out once in a while, but as all of us know, that's the way things are supposed to be. If you're an adult, you're supposed to help young people learn right from wrong. If you don't do that, that's abuse. That's right. So we try to help them, and you hope that they grow up like so many of our players have. And I have people here from my first 8th grade team here. I know Mike and Terry, I'm not sure if Terry's or any others. But anyway, what a great year. I can remember things, like I said, that go through my head. And I have to take time to sort them out sometimes. I just hope that they'll never leave. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to, players, I want to thank you. I expected a lot out of players. I worked a little hands off. I know I did. A couple of things. I sure didn't want to see my team wore out in the fourth quarter. Didn't want that. You play hard for 3 quarters, you give out, and finish the game. Sometimes those extra tears, those extra sprints, those extra running is necessary. You gotta put out there. There's no shortcuts. There's no magic cures. What you put out here and what you see on the floor is evidence of hard work, good coaching, the dedication. And when you do that, you work hard every day, get yourself in shape, give yourself a chance to be successful, you increase your odds greatly to do that, to accomplish what you would like to accomplish. Now, you can use that type of attitude, that type of effort, and put it into a person who happens to be tall and fast, God-given talent, then it makes you much better, of course. But anyway, I'm not sure what's going to take place next, but I know that we're going to get on the player. We're going to get on the player tonight. Cheerleaders. Okay. So I want to say thank you. Board, thank you. Coaches, thank you for indulging tonight. Coach Hatton, I didn't know he's head coach this year. Congratulations. Good luck. And we know that, let's see, this about, there's something up there that, you know, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I know it's just a little bit long here, but I want to thank you and let you know that I'm very humble and proud that I'm placed on that floor. It's a great honor to say I'm NCOE.
Jack Johnson. What we're going to do now is we're going to put Jack right over that name. Players, coaches, cheerleaders, circle around it. We're going to have the photographer up there. We're going to take a picture down so we can see Jack, Linda, and everybody, and we can get a picture of it right there. If you're a player, coach, we want you over there. Then what we're going to do is go out in the multi-purpose room. They've got some cake and refreshments there, so we can get. And thank you very much, Dalton County. We'll get you going here in a little bit. But first thing we're going to do is, Jack, you get out there, get family, and if you want in on this picture, be a part of it. Stand there so you can see the name Jack, you and Linda, and everybody get around them so we can get their picture. All right, again, for those that don't, go on out into the multi-purpose room. We will get